The beginning of the 20th century brought us Fordism, a production regime based on mass production. To meet the mass consumption they required for this, marketing management was developed. Back then, companies used and believed mass advertising was the best way to control consumers in buying their products. In the 50s and 60s, market researchers like Sidney Levy and Peter Drucker posited that the production process and the associated marketing activities should focus on satisfying the needs and wants of consumers instead of controlling consumers for maximum sale. Similarly, marketing icon Philip Kotterik declared that to make production more efficiently, the company should try to achieve customer satisfaction in focusing more on what customers want and need. The view of these researchers gave a fundamentally new justification for intensified commercial consumer surveillance that dominates contemporary marketing discourse to this day. Namely, that market research is central to knowing and providing what consumers want. Competition between brands and products has become bigger. Therefore, corporations are looking for a way to collect as much information as possible. To do this, they need the capacity to store, retrieve, and process this information. This is where the digital era comes in. The advent of the internet and the digitization of information made the constant monitoring and measuring of consumers and their consumption practices possible. But in these last years, not only consumer surveillance has changed. Also, the concept of consumption for consumers shifted from merely buying products to an expression of lifestyle, identity, and belonging to a community. What is also made possible is the rise of the knowledge economy. In this economy that is based on the production, distribution, and use of knowledge and information, the separation between the producer and consumer began to blur. This made it more difficult for corporations to understand what consumption really entails and what and how to monitor this consumption. The creation of a large electronic consumer database in combination with a geodemographic information system caused the transition from the mass consumer to the segmentation of consumers. This made consumer surveillance more commercial. Algorithmic analysis, the cross-referencing of data, and electronic profiles of consumers allowed marketeers to look at patterns and relationships in consumption and behavior of the consumer. Gandhi calls this panoptic sorting, discriminatory technologies which reveal all information about an individual's status and behavior to use in the profiling and categorization of a person's potential economic value. Databases capture very detailed personal information about a consumer's activity in such a way that the consumer's data double is being created. This data double discriminates the individual's data profile into previously categorized groups or profiles. Data mining can therefore be seen as a sorting process. It is all about identifying customers and sorting them in personal targetable boxes. Therefore, coming back to Gandhi's view, consumer surveillance can be seen as a market superpanopticon, where consumer information is placed in modules. So how do we see consumer surveillance? As customization or invasive marketing?
Companies have increased their ability to individualize market offerings, messages, and media, which can be seen as a form of product differentiation. To compete in the evolving market and to satisfy the different needs of customers, manufacturers need to customize the design of their service and products. Lee, Nahar, and Fang found that the original customer information can provide relevant insights for product customization to satisfy individual needs. For example, Nike, a company that conducts excellent marketing and customization, has come up with the idea to give customers the ability to design their own shoes. As a result, Nike is able to deliver customized products that align with different cultural preferences and style. However, according to Peck, Barger, and Webb, there's too much choice. Customers find it hard to customize from scratch because they find it hard to design the products that they actually want. According to Xi, Zhu, and Wang, a default product template gives customers an ID or prototype to customize their products. This in turn increases their intention to buy the customized product. However, their research indicates that customization, in which companies use default product templates, is likely to generate customers' intention to buy the customized products. What does this mean for our own choice in products? Are we being manipulated?
Pridmar states that the choices that are made by the consumer in the consumer sphere may appear to be free, but in fact they are bound to cultural and corporate expectations that are embedded in a continually adjusting informational system. It is not surprising to state that the advertising industry would be able to exploit every piece of information that they can get to reach the consumer and force their way into their attention. The concern about consumer surveillance is mainly its contextual integrity, in connection to personal information that is distributed for many different purposes. For example, a father discovered his 16-year-old daughter was pregnant because of Target's invasive advertising technology. Another severe problem with consumer surveillance is the lack of transparency when it comes to data and data collection. Consumers have no idea of the amount of data that a company has on them and on corporate informational practices. They do not know what data is taken from them and how this data is used. Consumers are also looking for ways to go around this kind of targeted advertising technology. They start using ad blocking or ad filtering. In this way, you can prevent targeted advertising and therefore the marketing that is invading the consumer's privacy.
However, for companies this is a huge difficulty because advertisements are a large part of their online strategy. We see a change from customized advertising to narrative advertising because of these ad blockers and the need for more privacy. There needs to be some way of creating a beneficial balance for customers and producers. But then, what is the future of targeted advertising going to bring?
Will the Internet of Things bring a wave of invasive marketing, unending consumer surveillance?
Or will we find a way to connect customization and privacy in a way which will both satisfy consumer and producer?